Hello friends, so this is the third lecture on Homi K. Bhabha's concept of mimicry and man, post-colonial analysis of theory, a theoretical approach we can say, and also literature. You can use this as a tool for analyzing or studying the post-colonial situation. He, along with Edward Said, gave the most significant contribution in this field. Their writings are immensely valuable, no doubt about that. So the first lecture was introduction and we saw that origin. Origin is from Jacques Lacan's the line and L-I-N-E, not lion, but line and light. And we saw how what are the three dimensions, that is travesty, camouflage, and also intimidation. All these things we have already done, so I don't want to spend a lot of time on that. And then secondly, we saw some of the colonial discourses. You saw about texts, so to say. Charles Grant, you remember, no? Charles Grant, he wanted to introduce, it's a kind of mockery, and mimicry is a mockery actually, yes. So Charles Grant said that it's an evangelical education system we will introduce in India for what? To anesthetize, you can say, to calm down as a tranquilizer, so that they may not enter into revolt, so to say. So he wanted to mix the Christian values and also caste practices. The Macaulay's intention was to create interpretation, Indian in color and blood, but behave like puppets of the English regime. And my missionary educationist, you remember, he said we want a set of translators to work in our different departments. So Edward Cust, another army general, said colonial dependency is our policy. Whatever happens, we are not going to give them freedom. And Lord Rosebery said it is written divine rights. It is divine fingers wrote this, that we should be, that the third world should be considered as the other, and they should be put down, and they should be subjugated, they should be under their hegemony. So that is the divine will, they said. And then we saw John Locke. John Locke, his ambivalence in the Enlightenment guru, we can say, that is the great enlightenment who preached the enlightenment, so we can say, isn't it, the master. So he said, slave can be justified, in state of Carolina it is justified, but in the state of nature it is not. So like that, as far as third world countries are concerned, this colonization is justified. See, that's what it is. Then it's a Fanon. Fanon said that it's black skin and white mask. Sartre said that it is inauthentic role play. Inauthentic. It's no authenticity at all. Okay. So now we come to what we call, it is post-colonial halfness. We are only half people now. Yes. See, Simeon Black, American Malayali, that means half Malayali, half American. Indo-Anglian writer, that is half Indian, half Anglian, that is English. So this is how we are, this is how they describe us, describe the people of the third world countries. So far we have seen. Okay. Now, what is it about? How are you going to define that? In literature, we have got a very classic example of this mimicry. Iago is, Othello, Iago, actually he was a mimic man, we can say. Means half truth, he always tells the half truth. Understand? It's not metonymy, we say. Half is metonymy. Not metaphor, but metonymy. That's what it is. Understand? It's a kind of mockery. What the role played by him in Othello, isn't it? Yes. So what is it? How are we going to describe this? It is described like this: the desire for a reformed, recognizable other. I will write it here. the desire for what is mimicry. That's what you have to study. You have to see now. You have to define it. Suppose somebody asks, what is this colonial mimicry? Then you can say, the desire for a reformed, you can say like this, the desire for a reformed, recognizable other capital letter, recognizable other means people, other, as a subject of difference. Subject means person, as a subject of difference. So there is difference between us and them. So we call them other, subject of difference. That is almost the same but not quite. That is almost the same but not quite. So this is a classic statement to describe mimicry, simple English. So what is it? The desire for, whose desire? The desire of the colonized, the colonizing power, not our desire, colonizing power. So the desire for a reformed, recognizable other capital. So they want to civilizing mission, introduce civilizing mission, English education, evangelical lines, missionary education with evangelical lines, that is biblical lines. Evangelical lines, they wanted to bring up some fashion or create some translators, some interpreters, all those things for what? The desire, their desire is for them, expansion of the empire, desire for a reformed. Otherwise what will happen? They are considered to be uncivilized, uncultured, practicing sati, throwing away the sick people, exposing the sick people, burning the lepers and so on. So they considered as savage. So reform, recognizable. In dress also, they are putting on some pants, shirt, and then tie and things like that. So that is recognizable other. But he is other. We will not accept him in our company as a subject. Subject means a person or a slave, we can say, a subject, as a subject. Here of course an individual, we can say, as a subject of difference. That is the thing. So you are civilized, you are given English education, but you are a different person. There should be difference, only half. That is almost the same, but not quite. Not quite means not quite the same. So we will say there is a difference. You are introducing English education, you are sending them to London for ICS exam, you are sending them to some other place for what kind of training, etc., etc. Everything you can do. But always remember, he is the other. There is difference. Don't consider him as yourself. He always remains as a separate subject. So the desire of the colonizing power, for a reformed, recognizable other as a subject of difference, that is almost the same but not quite. There is a slight power failure here. Don't worry, we will proceed. I think that you can see me, isn't it? That's enough. You can hear my sound, no? Yes, that's enough. Okay. For the time being, 1 or 2 minutes time, we will get back. I think we will get the power back. Okay. So that is one. And then that is one way of describing it. The desire for the colonizing power to a reformed, recognizable other. That's the thing. Second is, as I already told you, another famous or eminent post-colonial who contributed to post-colonial analysis and their writings and so on, that is Edward Said. Orientalism, you have heard of Orientalism. He is the author of Orientalism. Edward Said, what did he say? He said it is a synchronic panoptical vision of domination. This is what he said. A synchronic a synchronic panoptical vision of domination. That's what he said. So this is the thing. So this is colonial mimicry, he said, according to him. And see, the synchronic means it is actually a diachronic means through time, history. Synchronic means given time. That means static. Static. And so remains that particular moment. Panoptical. Pan means all. You know, pandemonium in Milton. Pan means all, daimon means devil. So pandemonium means there is an assembly of devils where there is, you can see when the devils assemble, what will happen, you can understand, no? There will be quarrels. So pandemonium means there is always hell, you will find pandemonium. Pan means all. Pan-American means all American. So pan-optical vision means all-seeing vision. They can see everything. Understand? So a fixed all-seeing vision of domination. That vision is fixed. It doesn't change. It is synchronic. And what is the essence of it? It is domination. And therefore what will happen? It involves, what we can say, it is almost, we can say it's a theatre of war. That's what it says. It's theatre of war. It can give rise to a theatre of war. Why? Because there is always tension. Isn't it? The subjected person, the subjugated person always will try to express his liberty. He wants his freedom. So naturally what will happen? There will be fight. There is a tendency to fight against the colonizer. There is bound to be a fight between, or there is a threat always. There is a threat that there is a chance, risk that there can be an uprising any time, because there is one people suppressed, some other people they are ruling. So the suppressed people always will try to fight with those people who have suppressed them. So it is a theatre of war. It can produce a theatre of war. That's what it is. Understand? And then a third description we can see. Edward said what is a synchronic panoptical vision of domination. Means that vision of domination is fixed. Whatever you do, introduce English education, civilizing mission, Christianization, do whatever you want, but that vision remains the same. Understand? And the third point is that it involves, that is mimicry. It means mimicry. Okay, mimicry involves narcissism and paranoia. Narcissistic personal disorder. In psychology they say NPD. Narcissistic psychological disorder. Narcissism. Narcissism is from Narcissus, a youth, a very extraordinarily beautiful youth who fell in love with his own image when he looked into the water. Accidentally he looked into the pool of water. Then he saw his own image. So he fell in love with that image. So the colonizer is like that. He has fallen in love with himself. He cannot hand over, he cannot share his power with anybody. So it is narcissism and paranoia. And he is always afraid. He has got a persecution complex, that there may be some uprising somewhere. You remember J.M. Coetzee's novel, that is Waiting for the Barbarians. You remember that? What is it all about? It's all about paranoia, a fear of uprising. Therefore, there is preemptive attack. A general is sent to put down all the hostilities and the uprising. When there is no uprising, no hostilities. It's because it's called a preemptive action. Preemptive strike. there's a kind of feeling, a fear that there will be an uprising. So these two figures you can say. Mimicry involves narcissism, that means self-love. The colonizer does not want to share his power with anybody else. He is keeping it to himself, and paranoia resulting from that. Means always worried about the threat of a war, a risk. Understand? J.M. Coetzee waiting for the barbarians is a very good piece of reading for this. Understand? So the 3 points we have seen. One, that he is a reformed recognizable other, subjection. Second is a synchronic panoptical vision of domination. Third is it involves what we have already said, narcissism and paranoia. And a fourth point we have already seen, but in this context also we can say that is what Lacan said. It involves travesty, camouflage, and intimidation. So this is it. Travesty means misrepresentation. Camouflage means hiding their intention. And intimidation means gaze, behave as I did. See, that is the fourth way you can describe this mimicry. Understand? And here travesty means they are misrepresenting. Say, oh, we are giving you education. But it's no sincerity at all there. It's only hypocrisy. Understand? And then fifth point, notice what is it? It is not mimesis, but it is a mockery. This is not a copy or likeness. They don't want to give the likeness of what they enjoy. Complete freedom, democracy, democratic rights and so on. Then that will be copying or likeness you will find. Mimesis. But here it is mockery of that. Means a second and a third and type of thing is given. And then you are just a cheated. It's a cheating, so to say. Hypocrisy and cheating you will find. Understand? And a sixth way to describe this is an elusive and effective colonial strategy to remain in power. An elusive and effective strategy to remain in power. Means continued domination. So you can say. So what is mimicry? You can say it is an elusive and effective. Elusive means something that you cannot understand. It's difficult for you to comprehend this. Oh, these people are coming with a civilizing mission, Christianizing you and reforming you. They want to create a gentleman out of you. See, Raju Ben Gaya gentleman, like that, that is. So they want to make the colonized people gentlemen. You will think like that, but there is nothing like that in their mind. So it is elusive, and it is very effective because you misunderstand the whole mission, or you misunderstand the whole philosophy behind this. Understand? So that is elusive strategy for effective strategy to remain in power. Understand? And then you will find that it is. Seventh point is to notice it is ethnocentric. And ethnocentric means race based. It's ethnocentric, and also it is eccentric. Ethnocentric and eccentric. Yes. Eccentric. So it is ethnocentric, means based on race-based. Because European race, so they should be dominant. And the eccentric means It's not normal. It's an abnormal thing, isn't it? If you say like that, it is abnormal, yes. And another way to describe this is a signifier. This a signifier with a partial signifier. With a partial signifier. What is the partial signifier means? Colonial halfness we say. It's only half of it is true, half of it is false. Mimicry is a signifier, but then it is only half. It is partial, half. Understand? Another way to do is this. For example, we said no, a reformed, recognizable other. But there should be difference between us and them. They are always other. So there is only partial. And then ninth way to describe this is, it is an application software. In today's computer language, to use this, you can say, use the computer language, you can say, it's an application software. Application software used by the colonizer for what? For perpetuating their hegemony. Yes, this is a word very often used in connection with the colonizing and the third world countries. So application software for subversion and also hegemony and regulating the subjects. A method to regulate. And then the dancer dancing according to the tune played by the director. Who is the director? The director is the colonizer. Who are the dancers? Colonized people are the dancers. So it is an application software used for subversion. Used for subversion. Subversion and effective use of hegemony. Understand? To remain in power. Understand? So this is the reason why Cheshire says this is colonization thingification. Cheshire. Cheshire, you remember, no? Cheshire. This is colonization thingification. This is what Cheshire says about mimicry. Colonization thingification means concretizing the colonization. See that? Or you can say this like a product, you can say. Something that has become a product of the colonizing power. Colonization thingification. Colonization becomes a matter, a concrete object, and that is mimicry. It's the result of mimicry. I said there was a famous Canadian political writer, and he wrote like this. He said, what is mimicry? It is to make them in our image and likeness. That's what he said. So these are the 9 different ways to describe this. Cheshire says it is colonization thingification. What? Mimicry. So what are the different 9 ways? Quickly we can see. First one we already see. So the desire for a reformed, recognizable other as a subject of difference, almost the same, but not quite. Secondly, the observation of Edward said that it is a synchronic panoptical vision of domination, resulting in a theatre of war. Conflict is every time possible. And then we saw that it involves travesty, camouflage and intimidation. Then it involves the figures of, in psychological terms we said no, there is narcissism and self-love, narcissism. Self-love. And out of self-love, this narcissus withered away. So that will be the final. The end is that if you suffer from NPD, narcissistic personal disorder, what happens is it will bring upon you your own destruction. And that's what happened to all this colonization, because all the colonies have now become free, independent nations. Yeah. So there you are. Then what happens there? Here is narcissistic and paranoia. Paranoia. Narcissism and paranoia. Paranoia, threat, always under threat. There's a possibility of war uprising. Already we have seen that novel by Kutsi, isn't it? It is not mimesis, but it is mockery. Understand? Then it is eccentric, ethnocentric. We saw also it is elusive and defective and signifier partial and also application software, etc. We saw. Now, as a last observation, I hope although there is a power failure, you have been listening to me and you are following me. Is there any difficulty? Shall I repeat the whole thing again? If you want, in 5 minutes time, I can once again tell you all what I have told you. That is, we began like this. Colonization, thingification is a phrase used by Cheshire to describe what mimicry is. So the first part of this we saw, there are 9 different texts. Charles Grant is one, Macaulay is another, Missionary Education, Sir Edward Cust, and then you have Lord Rosebery, John Locke and Fanon, and Sartre. Sartre said it is inauthentic role play. Then we are describing actually what is it? What is this mimicry? It is post-colonial halfness, very simple, as you can say. Or colonization, thingification, we can say. Or you can say the theatre of war, you can say. Taking borrowing the words from Edward Said. Equally important person, equally prominent, equally eminent in post-colonial discourse analysis. His theory, Orientalism, yes. So he says there is a feeling that a Canadian political writer, I told you, and I just began to read that. He said that it is actually what is happening is to make them, make whom? Make the colonized people, to make them in our image and likeness. They should look like us. We should not admit them into our community, but they should look like us. You know what is the purpose? In order to command them as subjects. They should look like us. The hidden agenda is, this is mimicry. Classic statement. This is the mimicry, that is, I like it on the board. The Canadian professor said, what did he say? To make them in our image and likeness. To make them means we people, other colonized, in our image and likeness. To do what? To command them. That's the thing. In order to command them, as subjects. So you make them, you convert them, you give them education, you Christianize them, whatever you want. Command them while, that's the point, while retaining their otherness. While retaining their otherness. That is the thing. Otherness. Capital letter. Why capital letter? Because it is people. Our otherness. Yes. So this is the point. Classic. See the hidden agenda. The forked tongue. The double talk. The equivocation. You will find here. So the halfness. To make them, the colonized, in our image and likeness. First world, in our image, likeness. In order to command them. As subjects, not as equals, below us. They are subjects. Then, while retaining their otherness, remember, they are other. Always you talk about their alterity, they say, alterity. This is also a word very often used in post-colonial discourse. Alterity, alienation, 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 alterity, and so on. These are words that is, or we say third space. Baba himself uses the third space, or we say hybridity. These are synchronicity. We have seen that in post-colonial discourse, models, etc. Isn't it? So these are words used in post-colonial analysis, very often used, very popular, we can say. So isn't retaining the otherness, considering them as potential enemies in cultural and literal military sense. So we have to say, what is our mind? In our mind it is considering them as a subject while retaining their otherness, considering them statuses as our enemies, in cultural and literal military sense. That's what it said. A political writer is a professor. His name is Canadian professor Ian Angus. His name is Ian Angus. That is the name of the professor, the Canadian professor. What a beautiful way of describing mimicry, isn't it? Everything is here. You are enemies. That's the thing. Your subjects. See, you can see, to make them in our image and likeness. So you can put on the dress of a European, you can speak English, you can speak Babu English or Manglish, whatever English. You can use English, anything of these things. But you look like their likeness. What is the ultimate? To command them as subjects. That's the first status. You are only a subject while retaining their otherness. You are away, not inclusive, exclusive. You are excluded. You have to consider them as our enemies. Get ready to fight with them in culture and in literal military sense. They are really actually they are our enemies. Cultural and in literal military sense. Literally speaking, there is no question of metaphor, there is no question of any roundabout way of speaking, straightforward. They are our enemies. You understand? Now what is meant by mimicry? So mimicry is mockery. Mimicry is partial. Mimicry is ambivalent. Mimicry is halfness. Mimicry is cheating. Mimicry is speaking with the forked tongue. Mimicry is equivocation. Mimicry is double talk. So you can see in what way these people, railways, the British introduced railways here, brought railways here. They improved their transport facilities for what? Ultimately it was for troop movements. That is the mimicry. Even history, see, they changed into a farce. History becomes a farce. It is an epistemological violence, you can say. You want a difficult word, what do you say about, I think I have taken this down now. Suppose you want to, when I say double talk, fork with tongue and so on, it seems to be very simple. You want a difficult expression, then you can say it is an epistemological violence. Mimicry is epistemological. Epistemology means theory of knowledge, isn't it? Epistemological violence. Epistemological violence. It is a farce. It's a farce. Understand? It's a farce. It's a false promise. False promises. So, you remember who gave the first false promise? Satan. Adam and Eve, they were reading, I already told you, But once again, I would like to remind, they were having and leading a very happy life in paradise. Satan, when he could not suffer this, he called Eve and said, see, eat from that, eat of that fruit, you will become God. What was his intention? Intention only expand his empire in this world. Same thing. Learn English. Come. You imbibe the values of English civilization and culture. What is the intention? Domination and subjection and to prevent any uprising. But at the same time, remember, you should be ready to fight. As Professor Ian Angus said, consider them as your enemies. In the military sense, not in the civil sense. What is the difference between considering an enemy, civil sense and military sense? Military sense means total annihilation. There's extermination. There's no question of any kindness or mercy. There in military, there is no, when war is going on, is there any kindness? Is there any scope for kindness, magnanimity, good Samaritan? Nothing of that sort. There it is only exterminate your enemy. So that is our position. Mimicry is really a wonderful concept now to analyze post-colonial discourses, isn't it? So what we hats off to Homike Baba, right? So we will continue this. There are some, tomorrow we will be considering the effects of. So we have seen the introduction. Then when we saw the double talk, we have seen 9 different persons talking and describing this. And then we also saw now today, what is it? We define. You can see all this. I already cleared the board, isn't it? Okay. So what is it? To create in our image and likeness. To keep them as the other subjects. And what we should do? What should we do? We should consider them as our enemies in cultural and in literal military sense. As Professor Ian Angus says. Perfect. You have sealed everything. What is mimicry? I think it's clear you are enjoying my lectures, and I hope that this will be this will give you enough leverage, so to say, to appear for your university exams as far as post-colonial studies and analysis is concerned. Okay, so we'll have 2 or 3 more lectures here in connection with this, and then we pass on to the next author, Fanon, and then Gayatri Spivak. Afterwards, we have other writers, like Derek Walcott, and then J.M. Katsi. Then you have about Tipu Sultan. You have about historical figure, Tipu's position in post-colonial situation. Yes. And in search of our mother's gardens, such things we will be taking up soon. And till we meet again next time, bye.